People of Australia and the world, welcome to the confessions of a tinfoil conspiracy nut. Now, I and many others all over the world have been watching in horror the incredibly heavy-handed arrests in my country of people basically just for having opinions and convictions combined with a little strength and integrity of character. Doors bashed down, people taken away, supposedly specifically for going to now illegal protests. That's bad enough. But let's forget about the mystery virus for just a second. I'm now worried what the next step is. I'm worried for the safety of anyone who's ever been brave enough to open their mouths and make their contribution online to the possibility of sanity in this world. For myself, I don't even say that I absolutely believe any of these crazy conspiracy theories. No, but the first step before anybody can actually decide for themselves is just to get the material out there. So some brave souls are sharing what frankly now is aggressively suppressed and censored material, and very often solid material, in the face of a pretty ugly policy, blanket policy in fact, of relentless derision. They do this, these undesirables, on top of being under conditions of extreme duress. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. We've all been locked away, denied human contact, had our businesses and livelihoods destroyed, and yet now, as if to add insult to the wound, we're having our public and doubtless even our private conversations constantly monitored in real time by Big Brother, who apparently thinks it's his right and a justifiable and sane thing to do. But there's no way that could happen here. It's clear our government now believes monitoring everyone's conversations is fully accepted, and they don't even bother to make a secret of it anymore. Though sometimes it doesn't feel like typing away in your bedroom to your friends is really public at all. That's the way it's been configured. Because our data is valuable for so many reasons. Sales, but more importantly, control. They really may know you better than you know yourself. And what's the pretext? A virus, apparently, whose whole narrative, the second you look past the fear-soaked and incredibly limited one we're being bombarded with on the news, is frankly riddled with holes. I mean, the fact is the plague killed something like 60% of the population of Europe. Well, this is something like 0.007% or something like that so far. And in Australia, about 50 times less than that again. Anyway, some minuscule proportion, even of the original modelling, that incredibly we're still basing our decisions on to keep our lockdown till cases stay below 25 a day here. And we have to be at 0 for 2 weeks before full normality will be allowed. Now I'll go into that in detail, but you know, I'm a practical man and I know when I'm beat. And the reason? Because most people still seem to actually believe, even support this crap. Crap which may well be 100 times more threatening than this flu-like disease itself, which for now, as I say, has a very modest death rate. In fact, I'm going to say this may well be the most elaborate and dangerous global coup in history, and I include our friend Hitler in that. Now I know them's fighting words, and words that put me, potentially, at significant risk. So maybe even the slightest risk of such a claim being true makes it best that we at least open our eyes to all perspectives on what's really going on here. As the Milgram experiments showed, people so typically suspend all morality and responsibility and just play along with whatever to cover their asses. Just like in Nazi Germany. But that was never to be repeated, right? Wrong. It seems we learn nothing from history. We don't even know that we're doing it. But isn't it good we're so consistent? We'd rather watch renovation shows than remember Voltaire's very famous and very important saying, "I may disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." All those ever so smart journalists and professionals in the news and the government doing their press conferences all know exactly what's expected of them to keep getting paid. It's so hard to tell that they have no spines. Because judging from the people I know and their behaviour just online, I'd say at least half of them agree with much of what I'm about to say. but less than 1 in 10 will ever risk a single thing in their own lives to do anything about it, regardless of the fact that that is in itself is the biggest problem. Now, I know people hate it if you actually call them out on their shit, or even just speak directly with them. But I've got to be straight with you. It's called selfishness and weakness. And this slave mentality runs so deep that they're oblivious that all they have to do is show a little courage and this tipping point will be achieved. We might then have a chance to actually live in a sane and free world. What a revolutionary notion. Oh, but it's always been this way. So today, knowing when I'm beat and having years of experiences, that's just too much to ask. I'm going to put on the metaphorical tinfoil dunce hat of shame for being a normal and caring human instead of a spineless subhuman sellout, and make my humble confession to the powers that be for leniency.